Alright, so what I'm getting ready to do is I'm getting ready to take this battery apart to reconfigure it into a 20 cell battery, so it'd be a 125 amp hour battery. But what I'm going to show you is how much these cells are compressed, and what I'm going to have to do is I got to take these bolts out, and then I have to grab this and rip it up. And as soon as I rip up two of these, I'm sorry, as soon as I pull up all four of these, because I got to pull this one out of this saddle right here. But this whole thing is going to shoot forward about an inch or so. These cells are pretty compressed, and it's one of the concerns I have when people start selling just the cells. If you were to have cells that would start to expand, and I have seen these cells expand, what would probably happen, if you had a row of these, and most of the cells will, they're all similar in age and use, so if one cell expands, they're all going to expand. And let's say you have an 8 cell battery, so it's a 50 amp hour battery, and the 8 cells expand by 1/8 of an inch, so they go from, they're about 1 inch wide to 1 inch wide and 1/8. That means the last, you're going to move, one of these cells is going to either try to move 1 inch, or the end cells are going to try to move a 1/2 inch. So if you can just imagine grabbing this post and pulling it to about right here, it's going to rip the post off. Now, ripping the post off may not be that big of a deal. I don't think it's going to happen. But when you start cycling that battery, you're going to be down a cell on one of the banks. So you go from a 50 amp hour battery to a 25 amp hour battery. And when you do that, then when you're charging and your voltage is going up and up, either both end cells or just the one end cell is going to be, the voltage is going to go up a lot faster. And then as your inner cells, which are not broken, voltage will go up slower, and you'll possibly overcharge your end cell, and then that's when you could have a problem. So, I mean, I hate seeing these people that put these batteries together with duct tape or wood or whatever, just because you need a frame. These cells come from the factory compressed. You need to compress them again when you take them apart, because I have a battery right here. This is actually a bad cell. And if we take a look at this, you can see that it's poofed out. Let me just go grab another one so you can really see how much these cells are poofed. So these cells used to be, I mean, look at these two cells. They're on top of each other. These cells, look how much they're poofed. I got them side to side. These are cells that I would never sell to anybody, because they're just too swollen. I'll use these at the house, or for whatever, but I'm definitely not going to sell these to anybody because the liability is just too high. But and then when I took these cells apart, I could actually see this aluminum plate was actually bowed, and I noticed that, and I said, man, that seems like it's bowed more than the other plates. And when I took this battery apart, man, these things shot 2 inches out. Like the end cell shot out like a foot or so away, just because it had so much stored energy. So I really recommend not using these cells unless they're in a frame, because you don't know what can happen. And I've actually had one of these cells charged up to 4.2 volts, and when they're a naked cell like this, these sidewalls have no strength, and you can just kind of see the poofiness of it. But I had it swell to about 2x. This is about 1 1/4, 1 3/8 times wide. Well, I mean, it looked like a pregnant goat. It was just hideous. So I really recommend putting a frame. Alright, so I got the bolts out there and there, and we're going to pull it out right now. Okay, so it's a little bit difficult, so you just got to pry these up a little bit. Still got the bottom holding it together. Okay. So you can see it's stretched out about an inch. But yeah, that's how much these batteries are compressed.